All right, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock live stream, January 26th, 2022. We are back with ESE Entertainment, ENTEF over-the-counter ESE in Canada. Of course, ESE is has been one of our big winners of class of 2020-21, up 1,700% at the peak. Even now, the stock is still up almost 400% from the time that we introduced it. So it's actually quite good. But most importantly, the revenues have actually outperformed your stock price. Increase of over almost 5,000, 6,000%. We're gonna see the numbers very shortly in terms of the run rate. You're almost at a $50, $60 million run rate. So with that said, Conrad, let's talk about what's ahead here, because right now the stock needs to catch up kind of to the fundamentals. Usually it's backwards. Usually we have companies where the fundamentals need to catch up to the stock price. Here you're basically undervalued by I can't do the math. It's like basically the stock would have to go 5x, 4 or 5x to get to comp value. Now, before we start, you mentioned, okay, there was a direct comp. Speaking of which, what is this company? You said there was an acquisition that happened in the esports space?
Anyone who follows the esports sector, yesterday, a massive announcement, ESL and Face It get acquired by Savvy Gaming Group for $1.5 billion US. Guess what? Everything that I've been talking about for the past 12 to 18 months just became a reality. When I've been saying we have a target of $1 billion plus market cap, it's real now. $1.5 billion US. It happened yesterday. Read it for yourself. ESL got acquired. So guess what, guys? This is real. This is now. That's the opportunity. There's a new bar set, right? And I didn't set it. The acquisition happened. The new bar, $1.5 billion US. So look at our valuation, look at our market cap, and do your homework. This is an opportunity, and others are setting that bar very high.
Okay, so ESL, very close. I mean, it could have been ESE. I mean, it's just one letter off. Okay, now what? So they were bought for $1.5 billion. What kind of revenues were they doing? What were they doing? Give us a snapshot so we can see the comp.
I don't know the exact multiple. From what I've heard on the street is that the multiple was in the range of 10 to 15x revenue. Once again,
exactly what you were saying.
It's exactly what I've been saying from day one. The numbers wrote, these are facts. Now you start looking at our business at a potential anticipated run rate of 50 plus million, and our market cap, something doesn't add up, and it's in our favor.
Okay, so basically, if you're doing 50 million run rate right now, and okay, so one of the things that's been, I think, holding the stock back is that you've done so many of these big acquisitions recently. They haven't shown up on your financials yet. They're going to be showing up over the next few quarters. So it's really going to be probably in the second quarter when Game Addict shows up, all the big ones, and they'll probably still be lagging behind what other deals you're going to be doing. But essentially, you're at 50 million. So the stock should be worth 500 million valuation right now.
And not only lagging behind. How about organic growth? How about the growth internally, right? So acquisitions alone, and then we're also catching up with our synergistic strategy.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the organic, because that's the big thing. Because I mean, you're not just doing a roll up and it's actually the roll up have synergies. We're starting to see some big numbers come out. We're starting to see you're expanding into other areas with these organic synergies. Like we're going to talk about the metaverse, all that stuff, but. So it's essentially just for the stock to be trading at fair market value. You have how many shares out now? You have 100 million?
Around 62 million. Yeah.
62 million. That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. So it's a 60. Okay. So I thought it was more. No. So 62 million fully diluted.
Yeah. I'm saying roughly
Okay, so it could be 60, whatever the number, but it's so basically the market cap is under 100 million. Let's call it 75 million Canadian. It's not even US, and it could be worth essentially, 500 million. So that's an 8 times. Basically, the stock should be $10 right now.
Like I said, I can't give you the guidance, but the comps are out. It happened yesterday. ESL got acquired, 1.5 billion US dollars, not Canadian, US dollars.
US dollars, real money.
That's creeping towards 2 billion Canadian.
Okay. So, it is so, I just find it so amazing that, last year, when you debuted this, on the program, the stock, of course, the market was a little hotter. We'll say that, but, the stock got a little bit ahead of itself, went from 30 cents to like $4 in 4 months, which is pretty fast. Now that you've actually delivered everything that you've said, which we never see happen, almost never see happen in the microcap space, the stock now actually needs to catch up. So basically, we should be trading at roughly $10 right now, just based on where the business is. And of course, one of the things you've been saying is, hey, the goal is to get this to, first you were saying it's 100 million, but you're getting close to the 100, and then you've been saying 250, 200, $250 million run rate is the new goal. So, we're talking about essentially this is going to be, the path is there for ESE to be at least $1.5 billion valuation, like your twin ESL, ESE, ESL. It's very same.
And it opens up a new, basically, gateway into new acquisition targets, because this is public news. You see Microsoft buy Activision Blizzard, right, for 68-70 billion US dollars. ESL gets acquired, 1.5 billion. So what happens is now new groups are understanding that we need to consolidate. We need to consider acquisition. We need to really consider this, right? So the whole paradigm shift with our huge pipeline of over 100 million plus, they're calling me now a little bit more aggressively than they were 6 months ago. I'll tell you that much. So it's really exciting to see people are more active and engaging in these conversations. And we're primed for it because we have positioned ourselves through fundamentals, through delivering, through executing, to be in a position to acquire more groups, to consolidate more, and to potentially even be in a position to either get acquired or join a bigger group.
Okay, so it's really, look, I think it's really inevitable. I mean, it's, and the reason I say this is inevitable is, the track record is there now. It's like, it's not anymore. It's not like a promises story. We've seen in the microcap space, so many companies have promises, year after year for sometimes, they run on these fumes for, a decade or more. Whereas here, you started basically at zero or, $1 million revenues. All of a sudden you basically delivered. And I don't think investors understand just how significant that is. So that it means that, it really is going to be inevitable. Essentially, ESE is going to get to that, $1.5 billion valuation at some point. I don't know if it's next week, next Wednesday at 3 p.m. or it could be, May 12th at, 5 p.m. But the path is there. The path is there. So we got some.
And generally speaking, groups and companies are rewarded for the speed that they could get there. Look how fast we executed. 4 completed acquisitions in a calendar year, with a 5th coming up in the next 30 days. I mean, it's unprecedented. The acceleration and the speed that we got there needs to be rewarded. And we're not stopping. And that perpetuates into this consolidation kind of theme that's happening right now, right? So the faster we grow, the more market share, and we're going to continue to accelerate. And if you don't think I'm excited, I mean, like I said, I'm going to say it for the 10th time on the show, 1.5 billion US dollars got completed. So the motivation is definitely there. Let's put it that way.
Okay. No, so this is no, I think it's a fait accompli that ESE is going to get to that, $1.5 billion market cap again, whether it's, this month or a few months. But, one thing that I think at some point, once they see a few more of these acquisitions, and it's funny, we've talked off the air before. I said, hey, this is going to be the deal where all of a sudden everybody's going to wake up, when they see this big one. But I think at some point, once you keep, hammering away, at some point that rock is going to crack. People say, wow, these guys are really moving fast. They're delivering. And that is worth a lot of money in the tech market once things get back to normal. So Samantha, we get a couple of interesting questions and comments coming in right now. So she's saying, okay, so esports organizations merged from ESL Face Group. $1 billion is $1 billion, 1.5. I don't know what
no, it's 1.5 total. So
okay, ESL
roughly 1.05 for ESL and an additional 500, but it was a package deal. From my understanding, that's the news that I received. The total package is 1.5 billion US dollars. So
I never even heard of these companies. So this just goes to show how much money is out there in the space.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and I absolutely love it. You know why? Because I've been a broken record since day one, telling you guys this, and now it's real. So now you could go read it for yourself. It's public knowledge. And now hopefully people will start taking what I say is a little bit more seriously, because it's happening right now. And I've been saying it for the past 12 to 18 months.
Okay, we're going to talk about some of the news, the metaverse stuff in just a minute. I just want to get to some of the audience questions first. Nicholas asking, in the wake of all these recent esports acquisitions, my question is, have you gotten calls? Have the offers been significantly larger than the current market cap? So notice, we're seeing transactions happen. Are you getting calls now, maybe from, ESL now, or maybe even, Microsoft? Microsoft actually is a player in the, video game space. They want to get it. The infrastructure thing is something that they value because, they're in the cloud business. So for them, it would be a natural.
Yeah, obviously I can't give guidance on internal conversations. What I can say is, do your research. This is public knowledge now. Microsoft just did one for 68 to 70 billion, 1.5 yesterday. Do you see a theme here, guys? I mean, these are multi-billion-dollar transactions happening regularly now to start the year. And we anticipate that to continue. We anticipate to see other groups kind of get caught up in this consolidation theme. And hopefully we're a part of those conversations. And we're positioning ourselves to be in a position. And I think we've done that. We've proven it. I mean, look at the consistency of news that we put out. The quality of news. I'm telling a story by releasing news almost every week, and it's quality stuff. We already had 2 news releases this week. I mean, guys, it's follow the story and be patient. There's more coming.
So I think, we're going to see esports become one of the big market themes. I know we said it before, esports, although things have been kind of hot, but it's still very early stages. We haven't seen, for example, I was going to say esports would become almost like the sports betting space. Last year, sports betting was a hot theme. Of course, interestingly enough, very similar to what's going on here is a lot of the sports betting stocks ran up like crazy last year in advance of, legalization in the US and a lot of new markets. And now that it's actually here and they're starting to generate crazy revenues, all the stocks are back down to where they were, before everything. So it's just goes to show that the market is, this actually creates an opportunity because now is the time when you actually have it.
This is the opportunity when things are now real and there's real comps, right? So now you could say, wow,
yeah,
this is pegged at this price, and where other groups are headed, right?
Yeah, but I think esports though is still has not become a dominant theme yet. I think it's gonna happen.
It's accelerating.
It's gonna happen because it's such a massive market. I think we're just waiting to see. There's gonna be once there's a massive leader in the market, one of these stocks starts falling. All of a sudden, everything is gonna start moving. And I think I think the FaZe Clan deal is supposed to. When is it? When is it going to start trading? That SPAC, the merger. When is that happening?
I mean, I don't know the details, but once again, I think they were in the ballpark of $1 billion.
$1 billion, yeah.
Once again, do you see the theme here, right?
It's 10x. Basically, 10x revenue seems to be like a typical multiple.
And it's what you said. It's accelerating, right? You bundled in the Face Clan. Now you got 3 deals over $1 billion in the next 6 months, and you're just things are accelerating. The market's consolidating. When you have bigger groups consolidating, guess what happens? It gets even bigger because they're pushing it with more capital, more bandwidth, and you just go from 0 to 100 now. So don't think that ESL is going to get smaller. They're going to get bigger. Now they have more infrastructure, more capital, more growth opportunity. So this is the exciting part, right? The industry is flying.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a massive event at some point where everything is going to just like people are just going to catch up. As especially like in the U.S. market, I think in the U.S. market people don't quite realize how big esports is. Like they're vaguely aware. I mean, they know video games. I mean, I guess they know a little bit, but I think all of a sudden the metaverse might be going to start. Maybe that's going to be the trigger. And we'll talk about what you're doing there. But there's this whole Web 3.0, and it really esports is kind of native. It's part of it is a native thing to the metaverse.
Yeah, it shines a light on it. That's what it does. It puts a microscope on the fact that this is how big it is, right?
So JKO saying don't get a core for no less than $50 a share. Like SEA, like SE or it was SE, the Singapore company. I mean, they massive winning stock, and their business was primarily built on top of esports. We've seen what's the other one? Tencent. I mean, there's a lot of the Asian hot stocks.
Massive.
Yeah. Question here. Okay, so Jonathan is saying, "Oh, so how come the other guys were bought for $1.5 billion, not you?"
Great question. There's always a first to market leader. You have to give ESL credit. They were basically first to market. We actually work with ESL quite a bit. And we have some former employees from ESL that work for us now. So there's a lot of, similarities between the group, let's say. But, I think they're first to market. They got rewarded for it. And they set a new standard for us, which I think is fantastic. And it should give shareholders even more confidence where this is headed, the direction it's headed. So I'm actually very happy that this happened. I'm happy ESL got rewarded for the hard work they put in, because it puts us in a position to execute now. And now, like I said, I don't have to tell you. It's out there for you guys to read. So now you got 2 people that are going to tell you. I'm going to continue to tell you, but now it's real. So it's fantastic.
Basically, at this point, with just the fundamentals in place, we're just waiting for there's going to be just that one event, which is it's almost like you ever see little kids when they hit that pinata, the pinata. Yeah. So you don't know which strike is actually going to crack it open and all the goodies will fall out. But so it could be but it's inevitable that something is going to happen where the pinata breaks and all the gold falls out and this becomes a $10 stock and goes.
And to the user's point, to his question, believe me, there's room for more than one. I could guarantee you that.
Huge market.
It's a massive market.
Okay, so so Conrad, let's get into actually the focus of today's little chat here is really we're going to be talking about the metaverse and also the organic growth, because we've been always talking about the acquisitions, but you actually have what is it, 4 or 5 operating businesses. They all have synergies, all have growth initiatives happening. And now, so I think we've got to actually start announcing more of those people. So just to keep people updated, because there's so much stuff in the backlog that hasn't even been announced probably. Now you mentioned the metaverse. Okay, so you just basically what's happening. You announced a partnership with Skinwallet. So just explain to people, what is it? What do they do? What is ESE doing in the metaverse? Maybe you could say, what is the metaverse? Let's get into all the details of that.
Yeah, I think that word's been thrown around a lot, and people are jumping at it to get involved because it's such a massive opportunity along with Web 3.0. The way we wanted to position ourselves, first, we built out our metaverse business unit internally. So our most capable people internally that have the most in-depth knowledge of what's currently happening in the metaverse and where it's going. So we created an internal metaverse business unit that I'm leading the charge on. And we wanted to enter this space the right way. So just like we provide services, real value add services to gaming publishers in the esports and gaming sector, we wanted to do the same in the metaverse because we started to see the cross section and all the game publishers going into the metaverse for that big blue sky opportunity.
It's
So we wanted
it's
to follow.
really native. It's all kind of tied in. Yeah.
Cross section. So first we started the business unit, and then boom, news release goes out yesterday. Our deal with Skinwallet. We're already generating real revenue and profit in the metaverse.
Now, as we speak.
Now.
Okay. How? What are you doing?
So, similarly to the gaming space, we could apply similar services that we already provide to those publishers, but now in the metaverse. Whether it's on NFTs, whether it's based on advertising and sponsorship within the metaverse framework, in-game type of skins, NFTs, and that's where obviously Skinwallet comes into play because they specialize in NFTs and skins, but we're adding the twist of marketing, sponsorship, advertising. So we're monetizing now inside that metaverse.
Okay. And I think so basically Skinwallet, I think they run a marketplace for trading like in-game assets, right? That's like
exactly. Skins, NFTs, they do, the whole gamut on that side of it.
Okay. And also like what about like I think what are those games? Is it like I don't know, the weapons or powers? They do that stuff also?
So traditionally those are called skins.
Oh, that's what it is, skins. Okay.
And now with kind of the onset of NFTs, I think obviously we're going to start shifting more into NFTs versus skins.
Okay, very, very interesting. So again, it's people are talking about the metaverse and everything, but really, so essentially ESE, it's like it's native. It is basically
it's our backyard.
Part of the metaverse all along because with what you're doing in esports, all that stuff kind of ties in. You buy the skins, and also you're in the metaverse, so you trade the thing. You say it's some crazy stuff happening.
And you see the CEO of Epic Games, I mentioned it last time, he's been very public about saying he believes this is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, the metaverse. And there's some very exciting news that came out as well today. Epic Games is going to be doing a lot of their game development now in Poland, which is where we're headquartered. So really looking forward to reconnecting with that publisher and looking at some new opportunities.
Okay. So what about you mentioned you're doing something was it Sandbox and Decentraland, right? Which are what's going on there?
A lot of things. I can't get into too much detail, but we'll be having some news releases coming out in the near future. And I got a really cool surprise for your viewers coming up in the future too with Decentraland.
Okay. So those are very hot areas inside of Web 3.0. Let's get into some audience questions. Samantha saying, Conrad, great work. Can you quickly go over Skinwallet deal and how this helps expand your reach and revenue opportunities? And can we hear any updates regarding Formula One and upcoming events which Frenzy will be broadcasting? Any news at NASCAR? Thanks as always. CEO of the year. Yeah, Conrad, we got to send you the award. We got to get that.
I'm waiting for it because when I get it, I'm going to put it up on the screen and show all the viewers.
We're getting it fabricated. We got
trust me. Jack's on it. I'm holding it to him. So he said it's on its way.
So just maybe you start talking about, maybe you can expand on it, like in terms of what, how big the revenue opportunities there could be. And also, what is Formula One? What's happening with that?
So this is the beautiful part about the metaverse space. The scale and opportunity for revenues and profits there is no limit. right? So
Because
we've
it's so
started,
no cost of goods.
yeah, it's unprecedented. So we've started on a project, a real project that we released with our news. We'll be releasing more information via additional news releases. But as we continue to build with these groups that are legitimately active in the metaverse, so real groups that are generating real revenues and profits in the metaverse, that opportunity just can continue to accelerate. Another question I saw she asked was about Frenzy. We've been very active, as you can see. 20 new countries for Valorant exclusively with Riot Games.
Oh, just for anybody
Unprecedented.
that we might have new people. What is Frenzy doing, and what's the
Yeah,
focus?
so that's our production arm. So when I mean production, they roll out esports tournaments and leagues, and do all the broadcasting production side of things for Riot Games when they're rolling out new games into new regions. We announced recently this year that we're rolling out into 20 new countries with Valorant, into several new countries with League of Legends. Keep in mind, those are the two biggest combined games in the world. So that's the level we're at. Those are the type of rollouts we're doing. And when we talk about organic growth, for Valorant last year, we had one country exclusively. Now we have 20. We went 20x for growth as it pertains to our production. Okay? So if you want to
That's
talk about,
organic. That's organic, by the way.
that's
So this is
organic. That's organic, and
there's a lot of organic stuff. It's not
it's
just
a multi-year deal. Multi-year deal. So read the news release, guys. I'm telling you, I'm putting it out there for you guys to read. I can't read it for you. Read the news.
speaking of news, what is it, you had an announcement about Ultra Liga? What is that? What's happening there?
Yeah, so that was for the League of Legends, and that was once again further expansion. 3 more countries on top of Poland, right? So there's a theme here, guys. The growth is happening and it's happening fast. We're not just re-signing deals, we're accelerating 20 times, 3 times, 5 times real growth, and it's organic, new multi-year contracts. That's why you guys have to really look at these news releases and read them. It's really important.
Nicholas is asking, in the past you've mentioned the run rates of DM, that's Digital
Yeah,
Motorsports, and
and
Frenzy.
friendly. Yeah.
Can you talk specifically on the growth since they were acquired? When are you gonna, like, I guess he's asking, like, are you gonna, like, break out the
Yeah.
organic growth at
So
some point?
yeah.
How are you gonna report that?
Yeah. So our quarter is due at the end of February. So the numbers are going to come out for the annuals. As you mentioned, not some, a lot of revenue doesn't get picked up in that last quarter. Most of it's going to get picked up in this quarter and the following quarter because Game Addict will come on. So, like you said, the next 2 quarters, you're going to start seeing that. And then we could break it out for you and our shareholders, and they could see the organic growth. And I think you guys will all be pleasantly surprised of how fast everyone's growing internally, because we've created this ecosystem, this 360 solution, and now we're starting to work together. We're implementing all our resources, and we're scaling. So things are happening fast.
Okay. When is the Game Addict team coming on the program? Because that's the new acquisition.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
25 million revenues.
Yeah. So coming up, as I mentioned on the last time I was on the show, next kind of, I said 10 to 14 days roughly. So now we've kind of shrunk that down. It's going to be the next kind of 7 to 10 days. And then we'll come on the show. And I think you guys are going to be very impressed with Eric, the CEO of Game Addict. And we got some amazing things cooking with those guys. So they're just going to bring a new influx of news, a lot of energy to the group, and a lot of value add to the group, quite frankly.
Now, I think we have a couple of questions. People are asking about iGaming, which is, of course, online, betting.
Yeah.
And I think Game Addict touches that space a little bit right now? Getting customer acquisition type stuff. Are you planning to do more in that space? And especially now, with the metaverse thing is, it's everything is kind of converging.
It's what, once again, I talked about this 12, 18 months ago. This is how this industry is. It's all going to start converging. The crossover is real, and it's happening now. iGaming is a space that we're very interested in, but we're going to do it strategically, and we're going to make money doing it, and we're going to be profitable doing it. Just like we created a metaverse business unit, and we actually delivered and got a contract in almost immediately. We want to do the same thing for iGaming. So when we are ready as a group, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to create a structure within ESE to really attack it properly and make money. At the end of the day, that's the whole reason we're here: generate revenue and generate profits.
Okay. On that note, let's wrap up here. What other kind of news can we expect in the next 30 days?
A lot of news. That's the most important thing. I mean, look at the consistency. The consistency will not stop. The news is backlogged. Our whole year is basically booked for the whole year. So I'm going to continue to tell the story through news releases. I'm going to continue to get on the screen, whether the market's up or down, or it doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to tell this story because the value is real, and it's been proven to be real by these recent massive acquisition, multi-billion-dollar deals. And we're not going anywhere. We're just going to continue to scale. So as shareholders, do your research. And, this is something that you want to follow very closely.
Yeah. So kind of, we got to get you the CEO of the Year award. It's interesting because one thing you mentioned, you're gonna, you've been appearing on the program where the market's up or down, and of course, this week it's been a very volatile, last 7-10 days. And when when we spoke last week, and I said, and look, we've had people like say, oh well, we're gonna make sure we hold off, this, that, maybe no, just, and you show up. So this is very important, the consistency that we see.
I'll tell you this: when you have a great business and it's growing fast, you don't need to not be on the show. You don't need to hide. We're front and center. We're hitting this head on. Like you said, consistency, day in and day out, brick by brick, we're building this thing. I know exactly where I'm going. My employees know exactly where they're going. And I hope shareholders kind of wake up and realize where we're going with this.
Conrad, I haven't asked you this question in a while, but one of our favorite questions has always been like, in your opinion, like based on everything that is going on right now, what would you say, again, in your opinion, top 3 reasons why, investors should consider ESE based on where you are, January 26th? I don't think I've asked you that question in maybe 6-9 months. So we got to get an update on the answer.
Well, I don't need to change my answers. And even better than that, now it's proven this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, proven by facts and acquisitions. That's the upside. This is a generational opportunity. You see Microsoft buy Activision Blizzard for the biggest acquisition in history. Okay, that's a generational opportunity. And 3, ground floor opportunity. Look at our market cap. Look how tight the share structure is. Those are your 3 points. Those are your 3 takeaways. Go do your research and realize the opportunity here.
Okay. On that note, Conrad, I want to thank you, and we look forward to catching up with you very soon. Hopefully, we'll get the Game Addict people on,
and the trophy,
and then we get the trophy.
Yeah.
The trophy over.
It better be here for next time I'm on. It better be here. I want the trophy sitting right here on my shoulder.
Okay. Conrad, thank you, and thank you everybody for joining our live stream today. We will see you all on the next one.
Awesome, guys. See you soon.